What is up everyone, it's Mr. Pilo, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Google Pixel 4a XL and what could have been, or what could be, honestly. We honestly don't know yet. I know a lot of leaks and rumors are saying that the Pixel 4a XL has been canceled, but it honestly could have just been pushed back. Maybe just a lot of the leaks and a lot of the boxes and factories haven't been making the boxes simply because it has been pushed back. We honestly won't know until mid-July or early August when Google does drop the Pixel 4a. So for right now, I figured we'd take a look at what the Pixel 4a XL could have been or what will be. Starting with that system on chip and the RAM, that's honestly going to be very similar to that of the 4a. We're going to have the 730 Snapdragon chip, and we're also going to have 6 GB of RAM on the 4a XL. Now this is very similar to that of the 4a, which is honestly something that happens a lot with a lot of these phones, with the regular and the XL version, or the Plus version, or the Pro Max version in the case of Apple, where they have the same exact system on chip and the same amount of RAM inside these phones. Now for the 4a and the 4a XL, I think a 700 chip is honestly going to be amazing. I mean, just look at what 3a did with its lower benchmarked Snapdragon chip. It honestly was a great phone, and the battery life on that phone was amazing. It lasted you all day and you could use it all the time without losing too much battery life. I think that's going to be similar to what we see on the 4a and the 4a XL, with Snapdragon 700 chip on this phone rather than an 800 series phone. And again, these are A series phones, so we expect to have a lower benchmark chip on these phones because they are going to be coming at a cheaper price tag. One thing we honestly weren't expecting from these A series phones was that they are going to have a hole punch display, meaning they're going to have a bigger screen to body ratio than any of the previous Pixel devices. I mean, this does mean that we are going to lose motion sense, which we saw on the Pixel 4 and the 4 XL, but honestly, I don't think that has been that great to anybody. I've tried it before and it doesn't work that great. It misses some of my gestures, or it just completely ignores them, honestly. So I honestly don't think that's a bad thing to be losing that, and we get a bigger screen on these phones, which is great. It is going to have a quad LED display. They're both going to have OLED displays, but the Pixel 4a was only going to run at Full HD, with the Pixel 4a XL running at Quad HD. Now, not only does the hole punch display give us a bigger screen, it also makes these A series phones seem more like a flagship device or a phone that belongs in 2020, especially when you compare it to phones such as the Galaxy S20 or the OnePlus 8 Pro, or even the Motorola Edge Plus that just came out. They all have hole punch displays because they're all moving towards having a bigger screen to body ratio. Now, along with losing the motion sense, we are also going to be losing wireless charging on the 4a and 4a XL. So if that is a big deal to you, unfortunately this phone isn't going to have it. And also we will be losing that glass back that we saw on the Pixel 4. So this will have an aluminum frame body all around on the 4a and the 4a XL. Now, fortunately, the 4a XL is going to get a slight camera bump by having 2 cameras instead of just one, like that we are seeing on the regular 4a. Now, the 4a XL is going to have 2 different cameras, just like the 4, but we're not actually certain what the second one is going to be. It could be a telephoto lens like we saw on the Pixel 4, but it also could be an ultra wide angle lens, which was missing on the Pixel 4. And I honestly think that's going to be a big disappointment to those of us that got the Pixel 4 and didn't get an ultra wide camera. And now we are seeing this ultra wide lens coming out on the A series phone that is cheaper than the flagship phone that is almost $1,000. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think Google is making the right decision by adding an ultra wide angle lens to the A series phone when their flagship device from last year didn't have the ultra wide angle lens? Will you guys be making the switch to the A series phone if it does have that? Let me know down in the comments. But one thing that this phone is going to be including is going to be that 18-watt fast charging from the Google Pixel 4 and some previous devices. So you will be able to charge this phone up really fast, which is honestly great, especially if you're in a hurry or you game a lot on this phone, which does usually drain more battery than any other tasks. And we are also going to be having a 37 milliamp hour battery, which, as I've mentioned before, it's honestly going to be great on the A series phone, especially because it's using a Snapdragon 700 series, which should mean that we are going to be having a more power efficient phone that is able to last us all day, and we can use it for a lot of tasks, messages, Instagram scrolling, or any other social media, and still be able to make it through the day without needing to recharge it. And in case you do run out of battery, like I mentioned before, we are going to be getting that 18-watt fast charging, which you should be able to get at least half of the battery in 30 minutes. Now the 4A XL is also going to be dropping at a sub $400 price here in the US. Now I know the rumors are saying that the regular Pixel 4a is going to be dropping at $299, and that's going to mean for the 4A XL that it's going to be dropping at a starting price of $379. And that's going to be for the 64GB variant with the $429 128GB variant of the 4A XL. Now this is going to be great for a lot of storage, and it's honestly going to be priced at around the same as the regular 3A from last year, coming in at $400. Now for this past year, the 3A XL didn't really sell that well compared to the regular 3A, so there's been a lot of rumors, like I said, about the 4A XL being scrapped. But personally, I think that the reason people weren't buying the 3A XL was because there wasn't really much of a difference from the regular 3A. I mean, the regular 3A already had great battery life and it was cheaper, so if the only incentive was a bigger battery, I don't think people were really going to jump for it. But I think maybe adding these extra cameras on the 4A XL and including it at sub $400 might entice more people into getting the 4A XL rather than the regular 4A. But I want to know from you guys, is an extra camera, bigger battery, and a bigger screen enough to expend an extra $80 and go for the 4A XL? Or should Google just scrap it and not even release it anymore? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like this video if you guys enjoyed the content, subscribe if you guys loved it and want to see more of it. Thanks again for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you guys around.